Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. I apologize for being a little late today on getting this video out, but I was doing something really important. Now, no offense to all of you, because I absolutely love all of you. You're the best audience on YouTube. You really are. You're just the best followers, best of everything. But I spent the day with my two grandbabies, a little bit higher priority, and it was really wonderful, and I don't get to do it that often. So they live a couple of hours away, so it's not like I never get to see them, but because of that, and mom and dad working, and then us busy, I don't get to see them as often as I like. So we spent the whole day with them, and it was wonderful, and I don't really feel guilty for not getting a video out at a normal time that I usually would do. Doesn't mean that I don't appreciate all of you. A lot of things going on in the news. And I'm going to run through all, at least some of them, some of the big things that's being talked about. But there's something that's not being talked about. And this is, let me just say this. This is one of those things when I keep telling you folks about that there's things going on in the background to this part of this great reset and this fourth industrial revolution and this Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 to just radically change the world that we live in. And it's going on in the background while all this crazy stuff is happening. And, you know, maybe all this crazy stuff is truly a distraction for this stuff going on in the background. Maybe it's not. But here's something that kind of popped up in the news a little bit. It's kind of like back page, you know, kind of stuff. But I think it's probably more important than a lot of this other things that's going on. First off, let's get to this volcano. I know a lot of people are talking about it. La Palma, whatever it is, over in you know, the East Atlantic. It did erupt. There's been lots of earthquake activity there over the last few days. A lot of predictions that it would start to go, and it has. Now, there is this theory. There is this prediction. The possibility of part of that volcanic mountain, the face of that falling off into the ocean and creating a massive tsunami that could take out the entire eastern coast of the United States. This theory is based on the fact that they believe at some point in our past, scientists say 100 to 200,000 years ago, if you believe in those timelines, anyways, a long time ago, they say that they believe that this has happened before, where part of it fell off and it created this massive tsunami. If that did happen, we're talking a massive amount of damage. You know, tsunami walls of anywhere between 25 to 50 meters high, taking out anywhere between, you know, 12 and 50 miles inland. We're talking massive amounts of destruction. And so there's a lot of people worried about that. Here's the thing. Since scientists believe that happened before, and now that volcano has erupted several times, many times. I don't know the exact amount, but I do know that the last time it erupted was in 1971. So it has done this before, and it did not create a tsunami. So while there is a chance that it could happen, I don't really think that it's a likely chance. Now, I could be wrong. I am not a, you know, volcanologist. I'm not a seismologist. I'm not any of that kind of stuff. But from the stuff that I'm reading, I don't think that there's a high possibility of that happening. There have been warnings put out a little bit by the Spanish government and a few other people. There have been some conspiracy theory kind of people really pushing this idea. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I don't think that it's very likely that it could happen, but it's certainly something to you know, I guess keep on your radar. Again, I'm not discounting it. I just don't think that it's one of those like high probability things. Something that I do think is high probability is our economy. It's just slowly, not slowly even, it's falling apart. This article here in Bloomberg that, you know, all this talk about, and this is funny. This is funny because This is what you and I have been saying for the last few years about this, increase in the minimum wage, how they're wanting to make the minimum wage $15 or $18 an hour. And we keep saying, if you do that, you're going to make that money no longer valuable because you're going to cause inflation and all this kind of stuff. Well, guess what? Here it is. A lot of places are now making minimum wage at around $15 an hour. And because of inflation, all the people that are now getting $15 an hour, well, they feel like they're not noticing any real increase in their pocketbook once they pay their bills and their living expenses, because those have gone up substantially. And so that $15 an hour basically equates to back when things were, inflation was down and they were getting paid $7 or $8 an hour. Ding, ding, ding. You can't teach everybody. I don't know. Not everybody's capable, I guess, of learning. Janet Yellen is out there sounding the alarm that, we could be on the verge of an epic catastrophe. The White House has already said that if we hit this debt ceiling, that it could cause a massive recession. Which is interesting because we kind of already are in a massive recession if you look at everything. I know no one's calling it that, but if you look at all the numbers and the fact that the GDP is receding and the GDP to debt ratio is increasing and inflation is increasing and yada, 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 we kind of already are in a recession. But anyways, they're warning that this could be some serious economic trouble. And when you add that to all this other stuff, supply chain problems, obviously inflation we've been mentioning, housing problems where people are getting evicted in the millions of numbers, whether it's from their rental home or from they're losing their homes through foreclosure. The job market is awful, at least in the sense that nobody is going to work, okay? Everybody's staying at home and they're taking in as much money as they can. Just a lot of people just don't want to work. You add all that together, we're hitting a debt ceiling. There could be some major problems over the next 3, 6, 12 months with our economy, and even longer. I mean, even the Fed is saying that this high inflation could last another 3 to 4 years. That's their numbers. So there's that, right? Then there's just more. It just keeps piling on. We've got this stuff that's going down at the southern border. This is just insane. And I believe that this is definitely one of those orchestrated distractions, just kind of like this thing this weekend in Washington, D.C., which is a joke. I'm not even going to get into that. But this stuff down at the southern border, they're saying now that under that bridge there in Del Rio, that there could be up to 15,000 people. And every time there's a video of it, there's just hundreds and hundreds more constantly coming across. And they're coming obviously from Mexico because they're on the Mexican border, but they're not Mexican citizens that are coming across. Most of these are Haitian. There's also people from other countries that they're coming across. How are they getting there? I mean, that's an awful long swim from Haiti to the Mexican coast. How are they getting there? And they're coming across, Del Rio is not a big town. I believe it's around 30,000 population, something like that. And so there's now 15,000 illegals there. They're feeding them. They're trying to figure out what to do with them. And they just keep coming across. And this is just one place. This doesn't account for the hundreds of thousands that have invaded this nation over the past several months and that nothing's been done about it. We talk about, preppers and all these conspiracy. We talk about invasion, some China invading us. Would China ever invade us? We're being invaded every day, folks. We're being invaded every day and nothing's being done about them. There's nothing, no one's being tested or being given a thing in the arm or anything like that. They're just letting them come in, they're giving them a plane ticket somewhere, free meal, setting them up with a place to live. It's insane. Maybe not all of them, but certainly a lot of them. And nothing's being done about it. And, what are we going to do? They're moving them all over the country. This is a debacle. Just as much, if not on a bigger level than even Afghanistan. And that was horrible. And it still is horrible. Things are going on over there that's still horrible. But here we've got thousands and thousands and thousands of people a day. And this is just one spot. This Del Rio, one place. The border's quite big. This is one place that they're coming across. and well, nothing's being done about it. The point to this video today, I just wanted to kind of show you all this stuff that's going on. And then there's more. There's all kinds of stuff going on with the whole, ding, ding, ding thing, that they're wanting to push that further. Certain cities are now pushing for more mandates and requirements to prove you have it. The White House is they're seriously considering it being mandated for travel. I suspect it probably in the next 7 to 14 days we'll get some kind of mandate from the White House saying that now any kind of air travel or train travel is going to have it. But that's, to me, not the biggest thing. This one is. Look at this article. Let me break it down for you. University of California is doing research, and they say, if you read through the article, that they've got this nailed down. They know they can do it. They're very confident. They're just trying to figure out how to do it in mass amounts of putting the mRNA thing, the gene altering therapy thing, putting it into vegetables. Yes, the vegetables that you eat. And their hope is that in the near future, you won't have to line up and get pricked in the arm to get this stuff in your body. You're just going to be getting it on a daily basis. That's right. And they'll just be able to, the next new bug that's going around, they'll just alter the genome a little bit of the plant and it'll just change it. Or because this, mRNA type of thing can actually be altered to where it's one size fits all. We've all heard that. Oh, this could be used to cure cancer, to cure AIDS, to cure all this kind of stuff. And so the hope is that they will be able to put this and change the food that we eat so that it's already in our food. That we don't even have to worry about, the next thing that's coming out. We have no worries. We're probably not even going to hear about some new disease thing coming out because we're just already getting this thing into our bodies constantly, all the time, every time we eat. I want you to pause for just a moment and think of the danger that we're working with here. And then maybe think about why has it appeared over the last few years, and especially, more recently, with different initiatives from the World Economic Forum and the UN and places like that, that it seems like that they don't want you and I growing our own food. They're okay with them controlling the growth of food, the production of food. They want to control the production of food. They don't want you and I to control our own food. And because if you and I are controlling, like if I'm growing my own food, and this is what's so critical with growing things like heirloom varieties. If you're gardening, which you should be working on producing your own food. You need to be making sure what you're growing, folks. Not every plant, not every seed is all the same. They're not all equal. Some of them are very genetically modified, and now we're getting to the point that we're not even going to know what has this mRNA therapy in it. Not just genetically modified organism, but it's going to have something in it. I'm not a scientist, so I don't understand all of it, but something in it that it's actually going to modify, has the potential at least to modify your DNA. This is why it's so critical to grow your own food and to make sure that the seeds that you have are heirloom, are good quality, that you're getting them from a reputable place, that you're saving your own seeds. This is why I've said, a lot of preppers, I'm going to go off on a little rant here and try to keep it quick. A lot of preppers and a lot of conspiracy theorists theorize that it could get to the point that it's going to be like some kind of Mad Max Book of Eli scenario where there just isn't any food available. The world is desolate, we're under a nuclear winter or whatever that is. I don't necessarily think it's going to get that way. I think that things are going to be as plentiful as they've always been. They're just going to be so controlled, and that you're going to be controlled in what you're allowed to have. Understand? So it's not like there's going to be actual real shortages of food. It's just going to be that you're going to be controlled on what you're allowed to have of that. And so the only things that you'll be allowed to have are things that have been modified. These fake meats that they're talking about, that they're pushing this. They've even toyed with the idea, and there's been companies come up that they can lab grow human meat, that you can eat human meat. Yeah, I know it's crazy, but it's true. That you can purchase meat to eat, and it's grown from human DNA. That's right. Isn't that wonderful? Well, here we are looking at vegetables. They said they're starting off with spinach, and then they're going to move on to other plants. So we're going to be, you don't know what's actually in just a vegetable. We're not talking about a box of processed, food products. We're talking about just a raw plant, spinach. How important that is to know what's in it. And we're not going to know. We're not going to know what's in it because they've altered everything and they've added mRNA gene therapy into our food. So this is the kind of stuff that I personally think is much bigger. As bad as what's going on the border, as bad as what's happened in Afghanistan, as bad as what's going on in Washington, as bad as what's going on with the, all this kind of stuff, this kind of thing where they're actually changing our food to where when you go to the grocery store or when you go to a restaurant, you don't really know what you're eating. They can put this in water. They can put this in just about anything. And I suspect there already are in a lot of ways, which is why, we try here at the Homestead to eat only things that we produce. Doesn't mean we're 100% of that, but that is our goal, is to produce, to eat what we produce in a natural way, because it's going to get to a point. This is not some crazy conspiracy. A few years ago, people were rolling their eyes, oh my goodness, a crazy nut job. And here they are, news is reporting it, that this is their goal, and they're hoping to have this rolled out before too long. Like, this is going to happen in our lifetime, probably just in the next few years, where they can start mass producing and mass growing vegetables that have this mRNA therapy inside the plant, so that you will not even have to line up and get it in your arm. Folks, this is why I push very hard on living self-sufficient, not just preparedness. Preparedness is kind of like the level 1. I'm talking about getting serious and being as self-sufficient as you can, producing your own foods as much as you can. And then what you can't produce, you're trading and bartering and stuff with others around you that are also producing, so that you're not having to go outside your own little network, because it could get to a point, and it looks like it's starting to head that direction, that nothing will be safe, not even just a raw carrot that you would buy in the produce section. It's just not going to be safe, folks. All right, folks. I'm telling you, it's a full assault on all sides, because things are changing, things are getting worse, and they like the distraction. They like to keep us busy. That way that, we're focused on a bunch of other things, and we're missing sometimes the most important things. Thank you all for watching. Catch you in the next video.